You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 18th day of June, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first live broadcast, that's our live training room. So that's reserved for members only and those who are taking the 1-week free trial. If you've never taken the 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. At the top of the page, there's a link. It says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form, hit submit. In most cases, we'll get your desktop set up the same day, get your indicators indicating, and then your trial will start the following trading day. You never have to worry about what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day you sign up for the trial. Once we get you all set up and ready to go, you'll get 5 consecutive trading days. So if you were to sign up today, tomorrow's a holiday. The markets are closed for Juneteenth. So some markets will still be trading. In other parts of the world, they don't celebrate Juneteenth. Plus crypto and Forex, they trade all the time. So tomorrow won't count against your 5-day free trial. Thursday will be the first official day of your trial. And then Friday. Then Saturday and Sunday won't count against you. And then you'll get 3 more days next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. We might as well call it a 7-day free trial. In this case, because of the midweek holiday, it's like an 8-day free trial. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, and then we come back for the afternoon broadcast, this broadcast, which begins at 12 noon Eastern. Now, there's a couple different... Now, this broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Best way to join this broadcast live, go to YouTube... go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. You don't ever have to do that again. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, the benefit there is you'll have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. The question box on our YouTube channel, I'm not able to monitor that until Michael joins us about 12:45, 12:50. So there's going to be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. You can. And there'll be days when you're busy and can't join live but want to get caught up later. You can do that too. I'm talking about our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. It's easy to remember. You already know the YouTube part, so you just got to remember /CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, or simulcasting, if you will, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Just pick some days at random. Doesn't matter which one. Watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit, watch a little more, jump to another day, maybe another year, watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit. You're going to discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. So, let's get rolling here. We'll begin with our daily devotional and a word of prayer as we do each day. And I got some news articles to share with you. Then we'll get into a recap of the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts. Then about 12:50, Michael will join us. He'll give us a recap of what happened in the live trading room this morning. And then from 1 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll go live on TradingView, do some live trading. And then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. Now, the topic of our devotion that we've been in for almost a week, tomorrow will be Thursday will be the last day of this particular topic, the air I breathe. Today's scripture, Psalm 122, verses 1 and 2, and this is from the Message translation. When they said, "Let's go to the house of God," my heart leaped for joy. And now we're here, O Jerusalem, inside Jerusalem's walls. Psalm 122, verses 1 and 2. So today, real quick, we'll talk about the worship circle. Worship is a personal thing, but it's also something we do together. Now, I think this has been a really good devotional for today's day number 4. So if you missed days 1, 2, and 3, you can access them by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. Because a lot of people wonder, why do we have to worship God? What's that all about? Does he have such a big ego that he needs somebody to worship him? Well, again, I encourage you to listen to, let's see, today's Tuesday. That's day 4. So we started it last Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then tomorrow we'll end it. Yeah. So anyway, worship, again, is a personal thing, but it's also something we do together. In other words, our responses of worship to God are both personal and corporate. And each kind of response is intertwined with the other. Through Christ, we've been reconnected to God. And in Him, we're linked to each other. Each one of us plays a unique role. I'm not talking about organized religion, but the organism called the church. If you're a believer in God, He has made you a part of His body, His people. A part of your worship is to make a connection with other believers around you. Now, when you hear the word church, you typically think of a building with a steeple, maybe a little stained glass going on. But if you study the word, we, the believers, the body of Christ, we are the church. Yes, we build these buildings so we can gather and worship corporately together, but not a building, but you and I. We are the church. The primary purpose of the church is worship. At its core, the church exists to glorify God. And without your life and voice, the body's expression is incomplete. But even in the corporate setting, worship doesn't begin with a group activity. It begins with our individual responses to what God has revealed to us about Himself. Those responses don't just happen once a week, they happen day by day. We aren't designed to operate on a weekly worship cycle, but on a moment-by-moment connection of personal worship that's as much a part of our lives as the air we breathe. As we come together with other believers in worship, we bring that same sense of focus we've had in our daily journey. We bring that same determined devotion. Most of my life, I thought you went to church to worship. But now I see that the better approach is to go worshiping to church. See what I did there? What would happen if we came worshiping to church, filled with an awareness of His presence before we even reached the door? Well, for one thing, the lead worshiper's job would be a lot easier, and the intensity of our collective offering would be full on. Can you see it? All of our personal streams of worship flowing into one surging river, one mighty anthem, a beautiful mosaic telling an even greater story of who God is and what He's done. People leave a gathering like that inspired to seek Him as never before. And they come back again bringing worship with them, starting the cycle all over again. The worship circle is complete, unbroken. Question: why would God design worship to be both personal and corporate? Question number 2, how does one strengthen the other? That's something for you to think about between now and Thursday. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we rejoice in the words of Psalm 122. Lord, we thank You for the joy and privilege of gathering in Your presence. As we come together to worship You, fill our hearts with gladness and gratitude. Let us experience the peace and unity found in Your house. Guide our steps and bless our time in Your presence. May our worship honor You and strengthen our faith. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen and happy Tuesday. Again, we're closed tomorrow. Markets are closed. Holiday, Juneteenth. But we'll be back for a full schedule on Thursday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. I'm going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Pull in some fresh data. There we go. All right, the Dow's up 46 points. The NASDAQ is down 8. S&P 500 is up 9. The Russell 2000 up 8. Pretty thin, quiet pre-holiday trade here. Now, when it comes to the indices, we like to see, as futures traders, we like to see all four of them the same color. We don't care if they're all red or all green. It's just when there's unity among the indices, that's when you get better follow through on your trades. So we've got 3 in the green, but not by a lot. And the NQ is barely in the red. 11 points is nothing for the NQ. But I think it'll probably be pretty quiet until we come back from the holiday Thursday. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 82 cents, trading 81.15 last. That's a gain of just over 1%. Gold is up $14.20, trading 23.4320 last. Silver's up 8 cents, trading 29.47 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 379 points, 1%. The Shanghai gained 14 points. The Hang Seng fell 20 points. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 49, the DAX up 63, the CAC up 57. No movers, no shakers there. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a mixed Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. But I suspect that will probably change by the close. Whether it will end up all green or all red, I don't know. It's just so thin, and when we go to the charts, you'll see how flat everything is. Or if you've got your own charts, you've already seen it. Okay, let's do a couple of those news articles that I mentioned. Retail sales increased at a slower than expected pace in May as high interest rates and inflation continued to weigh on consumers. Retail sales increased 0.1%, less than the 0.3% economists had expected. In April, retail sales ticked down 0.2%, according to revised data from the Commerce Department. We're getting a lot of revised data lately. Excluding autos and gas, retail sales increased 0.1%, below estimates for a 0.4% increase, but above the 0.3% decline in April. An economist over at Capital Economics noted that today's retail sales reading adds to signs that consumers are struggling. The soft May retail sales data support our view that after a disappointing first quarter, GDP growth remains a little lackluster in the second quarter as well. Now, how about this AI rally? Now, this article, who wrote this? I guess it was one of the guys over at Yahoo Finance. Wall Street strategists continue to chase the S&P 500 higher. The latest, Julian Emmanuel at Evercore ISI, who now sees the index rising to 6,000 by the end of this year, amid an AI revolution still in its early innings. Emmanuel sees earnings returning to growth this year and next, alongside stock market history that suggests valuations can remain elevated longer than investors expect, driving the index another 11% higher this year. Well, we all know it keeps going up until you go long, right? Just kidding. But the price targets and the market's path to them, in Evercore's bull scenario, the S&P 500 might reach 7,000 by the end of next year. In a bear scenario, and that's kind of where I lean, we're back down to 4750. Now, for the AI. For the last year, artificial intelligence, AI, has been cited across Wall Street as the most important catalyst pushing markets higher. This came as the Federal Reserve delayed rate cuts. Inflation has been slow to return to 2%, and the U.S. economy outperformed expectations. And as this bull market continues, Emmanuel expects volatility to increase as AI becomes an even larger thematic driver for stocks. Convexity is a must-own in a tech-driven bull market that is going to get more volatile. As a result, his team recommends a strangle options position on the NASDAQ, buying calls and puts at prices higher and lower than current prices, respectively. Now, that's not CFRN advice, that's not Dwayne's advice. This is a guy named Emmanuel who wrote this article. Again, here's what he recommends to take advantage of this tech-driven bull market in AI. A strangle options position on the NQ, buying calls and puts at prices higher and lower than current prices, respectively. Now, I'm not an options guy, so maybe Michael will break it down for you. Yet the details of this trade are less important than the thrust of Emmanuel's reminder to clients, which is that you must have an AI trade. Trade can be as simple as an options position that offers some upside reward and downside protection. Elsewhere, Emmanuel's team mentions AI revolutionaries and small cap standouts as other possible portfolio tilts for the current environment. As always, portfolio managers will work within their mandate to make the best decisions for clients. What any one strategist thinks about the S&P 500's direction in the next 6 months is just part of that calculation, now or at any other time. What isn't practical, however, is to see yourself out of the AI discussion, to tell your stakeholders we're not interested or not prepared or not ready to find a way to bring AI into our process. So give that some thought. Talk to your financial advisor. Somebody's been a bad boy in Hong Kong. Athletic apparel, Adidas apparel company. Adidas. You don't hear that name so much anymore. It's always Nike. Adidas has launched an investigation into allegations of compliance violations in China after receiving an anonymous letter earlier this month accusing local executives of embezzling millions of euros, according to news reports. Adidas confirmed it had received an anonymous June 7th letter indicating potential compliance violations in China, according to the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg. The shoe and sportwear maker said it was investigating the matter together with external legal counsel. Chinese state media outlet Emini last week reported that an anonymous group of whistleblowers who called themselves employees of Adidas China had sent a letter containing the allegations to the company's German headquarters. The letter, which was published by Emini, but also widely circulated on social media, accused senior executives and several staff members of embezzlement and receiving bribes from suppliers in the form of cash and real estate, and of taking kickbacks from celebrities and advertising agencies. One senior executive was also accused of workplace bullying, such as swearing at subordinates and nepotism. In case you don't know what that means, it means when you hire family. The whistleblower said that if Adidas did not address the issues brought up in the letter, the matter would be disclosed to external media and legal departments. Adidas shares fell almost 2% today. Greater China, which encompasses mainland China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, makes up 15% of Adidas sales, according to its 2023 annual report. Adidas regularly engages popular Chinese celebrities to be its brand ambassadors. And I don't see a current. Right now, Adidas is down 1.5%. But that's on the German exchange. So I'm sure it trades under. When Michael comes on, we'll take a look at it on TradingView. Moving on. Ecuador. Doing what America should have done a long time ago. Ecuador on Tuesday announced the suspension of an agreement with China that had waived visas for Chinese citizens traveling to the South American country, citing a worrying increase in irregular migration. Ecuador's foreign ministry, Ecuador is such a beautiful place, Ecuador's foreign ministry said in a statement that the suspension of the bilateral agreement is temporary and it will start on July 1st. It added that the measure was taken after authorities saw that around 50% of Chinese nationals entering Ecuador didn't leave the country through regular routes, nor within the permitted 90 days they were allowed to stay under the waiver agreement. So in other words, I think what I'm reading into this is they fly into Ecuador, but when they leave, they don't fly back to China. Guess where they go? They're heading north. This measure could mean reinstating visas for Chinese citizens, but the foreign ministry didn't provide details. Since 2023, people from China are among the top nationalities of migrants reaching the U.S. So they fly from China to Ecuador, and then they take that trek. Worrisome. Okay, speaking of AI, artificial intelligence has arrived in the French Riviera. The annual Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity, a global gathering of creative communications and advertising pros, officially kicked off yesterday on the sunny beaches of Cannes, France. And as no surprise, the speed of AI development and innovation was the theme du jour with most execs. Investors were worried about reaching peak AI amid record high stock prices for Apple and Nvidia. This community was having none of it. Qualcomm Chief Marketing Officer said that he is seeing strong pre-order demand for Microsoft's new AI Surface tablet and laptop released today. The AI Surface laptop and the tablet, I guess, both released today. They're powered with Qualcomm's latest AI chip. Lee Brown at Yahoo Finance said, "I think AI will be a great complement. I think it enables you to scale creativity." Others also pushed back on the view that AI will eradicate jobs en masse. Here's the vibe on AI in the early going at Cannes Lions. Altogether, one gets the sense that AI could unlock new profit streams, either via innovation or lower costs, for public companies in the years to come. Quite possibly higher stock prices. Disney's president said, "We talk a lot about our streaming platform today, and I think you'll see a transition to an immersive platform where streaming will underpin the basic core of the reason people come there." But you'll also think about how you interact on your social platforms, how gamification comes into that shopping experience, all within one advertising experience. I use the example of sports because it's easiest, and we reimagine and we further digitize our sports business. We've talked a lot about ESPN flagship in the last couple of months, but you can imagine a world where a sports fan will come to ESPN and they'll be able to do everything in one platform. With their sports betting opportunity through ESPN Bet, they'll be able to create their fantasy experience there. They'll be able to do shopping, interactivity, simulcast, watch, short form, and share content. AI is not new for us. We've been leveraging it for a long time. Obviously, with the creation of playlists, personalization, and discovery that we've had on their platform for so long, I think there's just more that's coming. We just released last year an AI DJ. Our listeners have responded well to it. And this week we're releasing a few advertising tools related to AI, mostly around creative and creative assets. And so we have a new AI audio tool coming out that's called Quick Audio that enables you to do quick script generation as well as voiceovers to create an audio asset, because so many marketers are looking to bring unbelievable creative, and that's one of the biggest barriers to entry for the platform. Yeah, like the voiceover that you hear when this show starts every day, that's an old friend of mine, Ramon. Man, he did that for me back in about 2003. Listening to CFRN, Christian Financial Radio Work. Ramon, if you're out there, it's been a long time, brother. Hope you're well. The social media app launched a digital avatar feature on Monday, which allows brands and creators to use generative AI avatars of real people in their content. Users can choose from pre-built avatars, which TikTok created using paid actors, or custom avatars, which use their own likeness to generate lifelike, multilingual talking avatars. Today, a creator, when they create a piece of content, they create a single piece of content. Then they put that up on the platforms and they look and see what happens, and they go create another piece of content. We've designed avatars to allow them to create a piece of content and then scale that globally. So you could create it in Spanish or in English, and you can scale it immediately to 30 languages, which immediately gives our creator community the ability to reach audiences that have never been able to reach before. Whoa, I got to check that out. We might use something like that. And last, Citigroup told investors today that an empire her bank amassed in the 1990s is Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser told investors today that an empire her bank amassed in the 1990s is no more. We are no longer the financial supermarket of the past. Instead, our vision is focused. Citigroup is paring back its ambitions, shedding businesses, and cutting back headcount as it tries to revive its stock price and remove decades of bloat. I wonder how many people are going to lose their jobs over this. Work for Citigroup, you might want to polish up your resume. All right, that's all the news that's fit to read at the moment. Let's take a look at Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. It's not just E-minis, though. It's also crude and silver and gold and euro and bonds. Over the last 307 weeks, we've issued over 16,900 individual handcrafted alerts. Imagine that, we're almost at 17,000. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Let's see, Kenneth had a question. So if AI replaces jobs, how does that benefit companies if people can't afford their products or services? I fully understand AI will reduce expenses for companies, but if they don't buyers, then the net effect is? Great question, Kenneth. I wish I had the answer for you. Okay, now Valerie's on vacation this week, so she's only going to be doing one recap a day. Normally she does 3, like one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. So this recap was done last night at 11 p.m. Eastern. So this is where we stood at 11 p.m. Eastern last night. But I've put out additional alerts since then. At the time she did the recap last night, since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 25 alerts. We're still waiting on the outcome of 7. That gives us 18 actionable alerts, of which 3, or 17%, would have been stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. So yesterday we were sitting at 30%. I was like, now we had a week of 0%, then we had 7%, then we had 11%, then we had 10%, and by the end of this week, hopefully, as long as they're staying under 20%, we're pretty happy. But over 307 weeks, over 16,900 alerts, we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less being stopped out, and 17% is below 20%. But we still got the rest of the day and 2 more trading days. Now, a lot of those alerts that we were waiting on have resolved themselves. Plus, I put out new alerts today, so she'll recap that. She did that at 11 p.m. last night, so that might be her schedule. Maybe it'll be 11 p.m. Eastern tonight when she updates the recap with all of today's activity. Now, 307 weeks is a mighty long time. But twice that long ago, we rolled out our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now they're a little bit different. You see, with the logic alerts, you get the entry price, the initial target, which is designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then you'll have second target, third target, maybe a fourth target, and then a final trade to target. I find those by looking left. I will teach you how to use those logic alerts so that you learn how to read the chart. The purpose of the alerts is not so you can just trade the alerts and not have to learn how to trade. If you want to trade for a living, that's never going to happen as long as you're dependent upon someone else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. You got to learn to read the chart. When you were a kid, you went to kindergarten. You started learning how to read. If you're in America, English. In China, Mandarin. Germany, German, I guess. So, with the financial markets, you got to learn to read the chart. Every chart tells a story, and I will walk you through step by step, learning how to read that chart and understand what it's telling you. And in doing so, you know with a high degree of probability what the next high probability move is. And roughly 20% of the time, the market will do something other than the next high probability move. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session. So a logic alert could come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. But the CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Today is the Tuesday session, but the Tuesday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So 25 minutes into the open last night, all of our members and trial members received these targets. The first thing you do when the report is published is go to the 30-minute chart of the markets you actually trade and make a note on that chart where price was at this time. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price falls below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Now the BBC is the green line you'll see on my charts. It stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above the green line, I'm bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price falls below the green line, I'm bearish and anticipate lower prices. Always relative to whatever time frame you apply it. Daily, weekly, monthly, 30-minute, 5-minute, tick chart, range chart. It's the same concept. But for the alerts, both the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts, I use a 30-minute chart. There's nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose many years ago, and I've stayed with it. If it's not broke, leave it alone. Now, with the CTAs, remember with the logic alerts, you get the entry, the initial target, any additional targets, and the final trade to target. But once you've learned to read the chart, then you step up to the CTAs, okay? And this is where you learn to look left yourself to spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs and swing lows, and you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, if price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the weekly zone above. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the weekly zone below. We've published the zones for our members every week since December 14th of 2009. Closing in on 15 years. Once they're published for members and trial members at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, Monday morning, they are carved in stone for the entire week. Once they're published, they do not change in any way whatsoever for the entire week. Once you understand how price behaves at a weekly zone, the zones will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. Just resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So let's go look at the daily S&P. Now, why look at the daily? I'll tell you. Great question. We have an inside day going on. See, we haven't taken out yesterday's high, and we certainly haven't taken out yesterday's low. Little bitty guy. That's what I mean by a flat market. Institutional traders, because of their account size and the size they trade in, they're the ones who actually move price. And because of their account size, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts, the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. If you will train yourself, make it part of your routine, every day when you sit down to trade, spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever you're about to trade. It can be futures, it can be stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, a never-ending cycle. That cycle's been in place since the inception of the markets. It will remain in place until the markets cease to exist. Why? Because that's how markets work. So what you're doing by adding this to your routine, no matter what you trade, is you're looking over the shoulders of the guys who actually move price. And what do we have? An indecisive, tiny doji. Some might say it has a slight bullish bias because that's a little bit of green there. But I say be very careful. Okay, so if you will add the daily chart to your routine, you only need to look at it for 2 minutes. You can glance at it periodically throughout the day if you want. But just kind of get the idea which way the wind's blowing before you start trading. And yesterday, it was obvious the wind was blowing north. Over here, the wind was definitely blowing south. Today, it's calm, barely a breeze. Okay, we have rolled everything to the U contract as far as the indices go and the euro. And you got to make sure on TradingView, okay, you got to make sure that you not only roll your chart over, but whatever DOM you use to actually place your trades, make sure you roll that DOM forward too. Otherwise, you'll end up looking at one thing and trading another thing. And when that happened to me, it wasn't fun. Didn't cost me a lot because I caught it right away. Okay, moving on. The vertical line you see here, this is Monday. I'm sorry, this is Tuesday. Back here is Monday. Back over here is Friday. Now the zones you see, they were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And they'll remain in place all week. And this is one flat market. This is where we opened last night. These are 30-minute candles. 25 minutes into the life of this candle is when I published these targets. Price came down to the BBC. That's that same green line you saw on the daily chart. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC. And the pullback to the BBC holds more often than not. Whether it's pulling down from above or pulling up from below. The pullback holds more often than not. So, the target 56.62 did not get hit. Made it to 58.75. Enough to get your go for the day on any number of these candles, but again, a quiet, flat day. Price is above the 30-minute BBC, so the bias is in fact to the long side. If price drops below the BBC, then we would anticipate price trying to get to the weekly zone below. This is unusual, but it's pre-holiday trade. Okay, on the Dow, here's where we opened last night, right at a weekly zone. When price moves up to a zone, we expect resistance. When price drops to a zone, we expect support, until proven otherwise. When price encounters a zone, 70% of the time, you'll get consolidation. 20% of the time, you'll get rejection. 10% of the time, you'll get the slice. See how this 30-minute candle sliced through the zone like it's not even there? When it ran out of steam, it retraced back to the zone it sliced through and continued in the direction of the slice, right up to the zone where it found resistance. Now, it looked like we were heading down to the zone below last night. after the European Open at 3 a.m. Eastern. This is the 4 a.m. candle. It looked like we were going to head lower. Buyers came in from somewhere, bid us up to the BBC, but the pullback held. And so we just consolidated, we spiked up, and then right here, 9 o'clock, we got a green candle. And then at 9:30, we actually reached up and hit the long target. Most days, we hit, or quite often we'll hit both targets. So once we hit the target resistance, it sent us back to support at the BBC. Pullback held, and we reached up to the zone. So we got a high, a lower high, a lower high. And so the market's starting to look weak here. So we're above the BBC, but look for that to change. Okay, we still have a lot of markets to cover, but right now Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we're going to go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes, do some live trading, and then I'll come back and I'll complete the recap of the alerts and wrap things up with our good word for the day.
Here we go.
Okay, looks good.
All right. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone.
You okay?
Today, yeah. Okay. I was just looking all around me, getting all the stuff together here.
I know it's a lot.
All right. So here we are. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 18th day of June, 2024. If you have not taken a free trial, if you have not taken a free trial with us, and you would like to take a free trial with us, then go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button right here. Now, there is no credit card required for the trial. You click on that purple button, and you will be sent to this registration page right here. All we ask for on this page is first name, your last name, your email, your phone number. This is not the registration page. Right. Still, on this registration page, all we ask for is your first name, your last name, your email, your phone number. This is the right one. Down here at the bottom, we ask for your machine ID or your TradingView login ID if you have one. It should say login ID there. We don't need your email. Right? We don't need your NinjaTrader ID. We need your machine ID. And we don't need your email. We need your TradingView login ID. Once you supply us with that, we'll be able to enable the indicators for you so you will have them running on your desktop. Now, this is the spreadsheet. If you were going to look at the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 18th day of June 2024, as I said. Today we made 26 ticks on the NQ, 9 ticks on the Russell, 24 ticks on the YM, and we lost 10 on the ES. That put us at plus 170 on the morning session. Today it took 5 minutes in one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $2,700, and we took a total of 15 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're up $3,802. So with 12 business days, averaging $316 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $44,292 over 113 business days, averaging $391 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were followed the 2420 blueprint and quit trading when you get your goal for the day and add 1 contract per month, all right, 1 per month. So far this year, you'd be at 6 contracts and you'd be averaging $1,265 per hour if you did everything just like I did in the room in the mornings. If you started with me at the beginning of January 2023, you'd now be at 18 contracts in the 18th month of the 2420 blueprint. And at 18 contracts and averaging exactly $6,000 an hour right now. That is odd that it came up to exactly $6,000 an hour. Over 41.3 hours so far this year. Exactly $6,000 per hour. I love it when numbers go up just perfectly symmetrically like that. Symmetry. All right, so let's get into the trades. All right, showing you all that. Let's get into the actual trades that we took. Now, today on the YM, I did change things around a little bit, so I'm hoping all my arrows is still where they should be. They are. Good. Okay. So today on the YM, our first trade, we ended up taking, was it right there? I guess that was it. There were some nice blue arrows in here before then. A couple not so nice, couple but really nice. But our first trade looks like it was right here. Then we picked up 10 ticks on the first trade, 4 ticks on the second trade to get us to 14. Then 5 ticks on the third trade, right there, to get us to 19, and 5 more ticks on the fourth trade, right there, to get us to 24. And then I'm pretty sure we had another 5 ticks there, and then something here. I don't know, but I didn't record these two. So this one ended up, I think this ended up being a 2-tick win, and I think this was also a 2-tick win. I know this doesn't look like it went anywhere, but I got it on the pullback. That's why I think it was a 2-ticker. And that was it. That was all that we did this morning. We went into the lesson plan, and the lesson plan went well. And it actually dragged me all the way into here. The lesson plan did drag me. I talked through the end. And that was the YM this morning. That was the YM this morning. All right. Then we had the Russell. And the Russell today, good, all the drawings, they're still on the Russell. All right, on the Russell, our first trade here, we had 5 ticks. Then we had 2 more to get us to 7 and 2 more to get us to 9. And that is where we ended it with the Russell. We started the lesson plan, and there were some decent arrows in here, but we had the weekly trading zone right there. During the break, there really wasn't anything. It was this green arrow right here, right at the end of the morning session, and that would have stopped you out. You wouldn't have done that one, and that was it. Not a whole lot happened there during the break. The NQ. Now, let's go back here. We're going to hit Alt and back on this. Okay. And here on the NQ, we had the first opportunity was right here. Our first one, this is where we got the goal for the very first trade. We picked up 30 ticks on that one right at the open. The next trade we took was right in here. We picked up 4 more ticks to get us to 34. And then we had a break even, another break even, then a 16 tick trade there to get us to, I'm sorry, 12 tick trade there to get us to 46. And the next thing we did was stop out. We had a break even there, and then a stop out there, and another break even there. So we ended up down at 26 with the NQ. We got into the lesson plan. I don't think I traded the NQ anymore. I think we went through the lesson plan and didn't trade anymore. There was one nice trade here. Al got that one, right? Al, he got that one while we were talking about the arrows. But I was showing it. I was working with the Russell this morning when we were going over the lesson plan. So I didn't see that or any of the other ones. But during the break, there was an opportunity here and there. This one wouldn't have worked out at all. This would have been a break even for me. This would, I would not have taken that. The outer bands are too flat. And that would have worked out for sure. There was the one that didn't work out at all. Right in here. Yeah, I probably would have taken, oh, that one worked out okay. This one didn't work out at all, and I probably wouldn't have taken that. All right, this did work out okay. I'm sorry, I said it didn't work out at all, but it really did work out okay. It went 15 ticks down before it came back up, so I would have gotten a break even on that. Since then, we haven't had a whole bunch, so I don't know what it's gonna be like here during the next half an hour of trading. You know, there is a holiday tomorrow. I'm not sure how that's going to affect everything as we go into this. Go into this stuff. I'm doing a webinar at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you guys want to go to that, go here to targetviewtrades.com. It's gonna be Heiken Ashi versus range bars. That's at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you guys are interested, go sign up right here at targetviewtrades.com. Sign up there. Okay, that's not going to be a trading thing. I'm not going to be trading in that. Probably, probably won't be. I'm just looking over here to my right and seeing that is GameStop. And GameStop is priced at $25. Interesting. All right. So this is how we ended it for the morning. Plus 26 on the NQ, plus 9 on the Russell, plus 24 on the YM, and minus 10 on the ES. Up 170 overall. Took 5 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're $2,700. We took a total of 15 trades this morning. Okay, that is how it all happened for us today. All right, that's how it all worked out for us today. I want to kind of see over here. those of you guys who are in here right now. Okay. Good. We'll get into some trading right now. I want to get the YouTube stream going over here if I can. Let's do youtube.com/CFRN. There it is right there. All right. We're in there. So, given the current market conditions with these time frames, we actually right here on the NQ, because we have this blue arrow, it needs to put in a higher swing before we have another trade there. Over here on the YM, we need that to pull back up and test the ribbon and give us a short. Over here on the ES, we're in no trade zone. We have nothing going on there. And here on the Russell, we need that to pull back up, test the ribbon, and bounce down. Okay. I don't know what that is. Okay. We have now put in the higher swing over here on the NQ. So I'm going to get ready to take another trade here. It looks like it's ready to set up another trade there on the NQ for us. And let me just minimize all of this stuff so I can get access to it. It's not going to set up another trade. It's gone down too deep. Right. So this is a potential trade over here on the Russell right now. Down close here on the Russell is going to produce a blue bar. A blue arrow. Right, 54.5 down to 53.7. Now I know we're coming off of the outer band right here, but you'll see the blue arrow right there because we didn't hit the black line on the pullback. So we have that blue arrow right there, and I just shorted that. Here it is. All right, now the anticipation, I got one tick a slip on that. The anticipation is that it's going to go down to the prior swing low. All right. Anybody that was in the lesson plan this morning, you got to see, I said that's a weird way of saying it. This is the number it's trying to get to right here, 52.90, 52.9. I know the swing low is down there, 52.3, but the numbers that we can see are showing 52.9. Now it could pull all the way back up and stop me out. That is a definite possibility. The swing high is up here at 55. So if it's going to pull all the way back up to the prior swing high, then it's going to stop me out. But the odds are that the blue arrow is going to push it down to at least the prior swing low. All right, so down here at 52.2, right there, is what we're looking at. All right. Now, this morning, in the lesson plan this morning, I think I've probably done this in here before, but maybe not. When you're looking at this, the blue arrow, look at this as like the slingshot. You see how this is the slingshot? This is the slingshot. And the way that it works is like this. The blue arrow pulls all the way back up here and goes all the way back down here, right? And so you have this space right here between here and here. And down here it goes up like this, and it goes all the way down like that. What you anticipate is that when you let go of this, when this thing finally snaps down, it's going to go at least to this point right here. But in a perfect world, I just stopped out on that trade, by the way. In a perfect world, it would go like this. Okay, you see that? It pulls back this far, it should shoot that far. Got it? So the green arrow is, we went over this morning, he pulled back a little bit deeper with the green arrow. And you let it go, and it should do the same thing, but it should be a little further. Okay, that's what we're looking at. So I stopped out on that trade just a minute ago, on that Russell trade. It's still pushing down. It should still get down there and do everything that I just said. It's just a matter of it finishing it out and me not having enough risk on the trade. And that happens from time to time. Okay, that is the blue arrow. Now the green arrow is a little bit deeper pullback, right? So with the green arrow, the pullback is this big. Same theory, same logic, but the pullback is that big. So it should go down that far. Okay. Same everything. If you use the highlighter, use the poles for the slingshot like that, right? And the green arrow, pulling back a little bit deeper. Oops. Hang on. Get a pen. The green pen. Pulling back a little bit deeper. Should shoot a little further down, right? You would think. In a perfect world, that's what would happen. That's what just did happen over here on the YM. Okay.
And it is so awesome. I heard about it all my life, the perfect world.
Oh, the perfect world.
Yeah,
Did you just move into the perfect world?
In my mind, I just moved in, and yeah, we're going to have a housewarming party at some point. I don't know. I'll let you keep you guys posted.
Excellent, excellent. Good. I can't wait to see there, visit. I know I won't end up there, at least not for a while. But this is what you expect, right? Green arrow, blue arrow. Now the blue arrow is more consistent than the green arrow. That's why I like the blue arrows more. The problem with the green arrow is when you pull it back, a lot of times it's going to get back here and you're going to pull too far and it's going to snap and go in the other direction. Like this one over here did. Pulled back too far, snapped, went in the other direction. That's the problem with the green arrows. This one over here worked out okay. Still got more down to do. This one over here still got more down to do. It hasn't even gotten here to the prior swing low yet. So if it fails to get to the prior swing low, then your slingshot doesn't work anymore. Your old slingshot doesn't work anymore. You got to wait until it sets up again. Okay? Just a little bit of fun over there. Displaying slingshots and whatnot. I went to Academy Sports last week with Jake, get a new anchor. And they have slingshots in there. They actually have slingshots. It's pretty cool. I haven't seen one of them in a long time. I used to make my own. I'm sure. Yeah. Red-blooded boy. That any kind of woods near did that. All right, so here on the YM, we pulled back up. We've hit the ribbon. Now we pulled back deep into the ribbon. We've hit the black line in the ribbon. We're in the overbought. So if you get it down close, we're going to have another green arrow here. Another green arrow, right? So remember what I just drew over here with this one a minute ago? Same stuff applies on this. Okay, this was the part you were pulling away from. This was the amount that you pulled away. This is the amount it should go down to. Okay, when it's done with all the pullbacks. Eventually should get there. This one here should do the same thing. Okay, it's, look at it this way. That's a minimum what it should do. When you're doing the leg lengths like this leg length right here is usually twice the size of this leg length right here. Okay, so you have this far, then half a pullback, and then that far again. That's going to give you a nice trend. That's what you want to see on each one of these trades. Okay, and so with the black arrow, it's pulling back like that, and so it's going down like that. The blue arrow, it's pulling back. Well, start over again. The blue arrow, it's pulling back just about right, 50% marker like that, and it should go down again this length right here. With the green arrow, it's pulling back closer to the 100% mark like that. Then the push down is just this. All right, so you're hoping that the green arrow is going to keep going, right? But it's lost a lot of momentum when it gets to here. So I mean, it's not just the green. I use the green arrow. We use the colors and we use the arrows to identify these things for you. But in any kind of trading, you don't have to have the arrows. You don't have to have any indicators on the chart at all. I could show you this. If you just blow up the CS and shut that off, It's the same stuff, right? If you shut it off and you just blow up the ES and you watch it like this, you know, it started up here, it went down. This pullback right here is a little more than 50% of this leg down. So you expect it to push through the end, but not too far through the end, and it does. This pullback right here, again, is a little more than 50%. So you expect it to push through the end, but not too much through the end. It does push through just a little bit. This pullback here is a little tiny one. This would be like the black arrow pullback. You expect it to push through the end, and you don't know. It does a pretty good push. Then a pullback. This is right at, well, the overall move right here. This is about 50% of the overall move. Gives a push down, but doesn't continue. Pulls back here. Now this is too deep right here. So right here, you think you might be changing directions. So you don't do anything with this. It does make a nice move down and a pullback and a nice move down and goes sideways and then another nice move down. So the places you would enter in this to begin with, you'd be looking to go long from back here. All right, you'd be looking to go long there. Doesn't put in a higher swing. That's the only long. Then it changes directions a little bit here. It pushes down. You'd be looking to go short there and short there. Those are the places you'd be looking to trade on this whole move right here. Those three places. Establish a trend, take a trade with the trend. Reestablish a trend, take a trade with the trend. Continue the trend, take a trade with the trend. So you don't even have to have the indicators. Right here, establish a trend, take a trade with the trend. Right here. Probably take this one too and stop out. But this one right here would be the one going with the trend. And now it's going to reestablish a trend again because it didn't put in a higher swing. You see that? I don't have the question box on. Hang on. Kenneth. So if AI replaces jobs, how does that benefit companies if people can't afford their products or services? I understand AI will reduce expenses for companies, but if they, okay, that was not to me. I don't think. Was it? Kenneth? That was more to something that Dwayne was probably covering earlier. Or was this just a general statement? I mean, it's in the question box. Kenneth said, if AI replaces. Okay, yeah, I figured you probably did. I can't see the timeline. Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, many. Indeed. Yeah, or a zero bagger. Yes. Right. So, and all that stuff that is true. Stocks can go to zero. So you gotta have a 10 bagger or a zero bagger. All that stuff that I just said a few minutes ago about having to establish a trend, and then you'd have your trade here, and then reestablish a trend on the other side, and you have a trade here and a trade here. I was just eyeballing that, right? Based on what I see here on the chart. This is where I thought the trades would be, right in here. That's where I thought the trades would be. And if I throw this stuff back on there, I think, see, my brain is always kind of working the same way. The trades right there. We had a green arrow there, a purple arrow there, and a green arrow there. Those are the trades. You wouldn't do this because the outer bands are flat. So those are the trades you would take. And then over here, you would have this one here. I think I said you'd have that one and it would stop you out. I think that's what I said, right? If I shut this off again, we can go back and think that. Yeah, I said this one right here, you take that one, it would stop you out and you get another one right here. I think those are the words that I said. If you go back and watch that again. I said you'd have that one right there. That would stop you out right here. I'm trying to put the highlighter back on, but it doesn't seem to be sticking. There it is. That would stop you out, and then you have another trade right there. That would not continue the trend. So you'd be in a whole bunch of chop. And that's the way it is. You know, the markets are always doing the same thing. Once you understand what they're doing, you can kind of understand what to expect out of them. And it makes everything a lot easier. that there, that, stop out. That turned out to not be a trade. If you did take that trade, it would have worked out to be something, but it turned out to not be a trade. But if I shut everything off again, we can go and look at any place in the market and it's going to be the same stuff. You know, if I erase that and we scroll back here, here's a random spot. But you can see we're in a nice uptrend right here, right? And so in the uptrend, you know, you're gonna get your trades. You're gonna get one here, 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 one there. All right. Those are all the places you like to get trades. Now arrows would only be coming when it comes out of the oversold. So you're gonna get a black arrow here, a black arrow here, maybe a blue or green arrow there, maybe a blue or green arrow there and there. Over here, maybe a blue or green arrow. Right here, probably a black arrow because the pullback isn't very deep. And right here, a black arrow because the pullback's not very deep. But then it stops. Right? The whole thing stops. So here, let's say you're going to have an arrow here, 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 and there. You can have arrows in all those places. You even have one right here, I think. It's pretty obvious which ones are going to work out well. You know, these three right here would all be about the same. If you had a good entry right here, if you had a good entry right there, you'd be in that through all three of them for this move up. If you had a good entry on this one, a really good entry, then you wouldn't stop out on this, but most likely you're going to stop out to the tick right there. This one's perfect. That one's perfect. This one's just enough to get your stop to break even. This one would be a stop out. Okay, but then it changes directions right in here. And it doesn't do a nice direction change. Okay, because it comes here, look at the pullback. It's this deep of a pullback, and look at the pullback within the pullback. 50% of this is right about here. So it's okay. It's okay the way it did it, but it went sideways all through here. So you're gonna have a whole bunch of no trade zone right here. And then it gives you this little push right there. So it's gonna break out of that to the downside right here. It gives you a little push with no follow through. And it changes directions and look like it probably starts moving back up right there. All right. You can see that, right? Can you guys all see that? The markets are always doing the same thing. If I turn this on, let's see what happens. Black arrow, black arrow, black arrow, black arrow, blue arrow, black arrow, black arrow, blue arrow, stop out, black arrow. You didn't get a trade here, but this is where it changed directions to push back up. You're in the no trade zone this whole way through right here. No trade zone. I didn't know the no trade zone was going to be that big, but you're in a no trade zone the whole way through. And right over here, I dotted that one. I said that's probably where it starts up going the other way. It just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I'm looking at it in hindsight. Of course, it makes sense in hindsight. But once you understand what to expect out of the market, then when you're all the way at this end, it makes sense, right? You don't expect anything out of this right now. You're in a no trade zone. The indicators are telling you you're in a no trade zone. Don't expect anything out of this. This was the last move right here. This last move right here was just like that last one that I had pinned. This one that was right in here that stopped out. You know, if we shift this around like that, that's kind of where it is. And this is the push down, and then it got sideways, and then it started pushing back up. The market's always doing the same thing. Once you understand what it's doing, you know what to expect out of it. You have a pretty good idea of what to expect out of it.
NVIDIA just overtook Microsoft to once again become the world's most valuable company by market cap.
What's NVIDIA doing right now?
$135.18.
NVIDIA.
Number one is NVIDIA. Number two is Microsoft. Number three is Apple. Number four is Alphabet or Google. And number five is Amazon. NVIDIA is worth $3.325 trillion.
This is NVIDIA's 12-month chart.
Wow.
This 33 cents back here, January of 2011.
My goodness.
It's just like Bitcoin.
Oh, and keep in mind, it just split 10 for 1.
Yeah, I know. Well, here it is on the 30-minute. So let's get it on the 30-minute. So this is 30-minute. The TV trades nailed it back here, again here, anytime you get double arrows like this, anything that follows double arrows, me personally, I'm going to double up on, because the odds of any trade following a double black arrow like that is really good. But this is the 30-minute chart. So it gave, we had a long here, that's the 14th. It hasn't done anything on the 30-minute chart since the 14th. Let's look at something. It's 132 bucks. Let's find a range bar that fits that. About 50 range. It's 50 cents a bar. There we go. Here's today. A nice arrow right there and right there. Some great entries on NVIDIA today. And one back here. One over here. That didn't work out so well. 9.3 over there. But these are 50-cent bars. Okay. These are 50-cent bars.
What's a 5-minute chart look like?
Let's go look. The 5-minute chart looks like this. Populate. Here it is.
Booyah.
So 5 minutes gave some really nice trades too. Really nice trades.
Very nice.
And we're running out of targets here on the upside. There's one target left on the upside. So all-time highs. Right up above again. All right. What time is it? It's 1:22. Okay, I keep losing track of the time. I gotta stop doing that. I got that thing this afternoon. Keep thinking of other things that I gotta do. I need to make a list. You have somebody to make a list for me. Anyway, trades. We need right here, the blue, we want to see it put in a lower swing, right? Over here, we had this green arrow that did put in a higher swing. Now we need to pull back on that. Over here, we had this green arrow way back here that need to put in a higher swing. It's finally got the higher swing to work with over there on the NQ. So we will look for that to pull back. On the ES, we'll look for that to pull back. The Russell will look for that to pull back. And on the YM, we're looking for that to pull back. Okay. That's what we're looking for.
I'm looking at the Target View Trades homepage. Where's the link to the webinar this afternoon?
You're right here. I can actually view range with TV Trades MTT webinar registration. You're right there at the top. I think. Let me just refresh.
Yeah, no, it's there. I can actually versus range with TV Trades. Okay, I see it. I just wanted to get the link so I could post it in the thingamajig.
That is where it is, and we will get into that. Well, in a couple hours, hour and a half. The weather looks like it's starting to turn on us here. It's not a bad thing. All right. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple. I knew there was a reason why I brought this up. Click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for the trial. All right. Click on the purple button right there, and that will sign you up for the trial. With the trial, you get access to all these indicators that you see right here. You get access to the room in the morning. It starts usually around 9:15. I open it up and I get in there with audio, usually about 9:20, 9:25. And we go right through to 11:30, sometimes a little further like today. Going through the trades and the trade setups and the indicators and all the other stuff, the lesson plan, and how all these pieces come together. Now, there is something that Chris, I believe, asked me about. He was talking about the context, and he was asking if inside the context we had an alert in here. And it would be inside just regular context. It would be, Chris, are you in here right now? Let me see if Chris is in here. Chris is not in here. It'd be on the any alert function call inside the regular context. Just any alert function call. And that would give you the alert on these the little arrows.
The context PP is where you get the other stuff. Right.
Context PP is where you get all the other alerts inside the context PP. If you go to alert in here, the context PP, you have all of these things right here with just the regular context. Oops, just the regular context.
To get that, you become a passport holder.
That is it. Passport
You're
holder.
not a passport holder. Valerie's got a great offer for you to upgrade to passport status.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right, so we need a lower swing here. We needed a bounce off the ribbon, right? Yeah, that's pulled back too deep for me to want to take it. Even if it gives us a green arrow right now, that's too deep of a pullback for me to want to take. Same thing with this one over here. This is a really deep pullback. We want to see a lower swing here on the Russell. Okay, if we get a lower swing, that would be wonderful. And then we look for another trade. And that's it. So we're waiting right now. We didn't end up with a green arrow over here. That's good. I didn't really want one. We have the green arrow here that's struggling. It should get up above the prior swing high, but it is struggling here. Now remember what I said yesterday with the purple arrows. I like the purple arrows where you can see that the ribbon is spread out. All right. There will be times that the outer band's not spread out, but the ribbon is. Those are the purple arrows that I like, because the purple arrows can happen inside. This is an example right here. The outer band's not spread out, but the ribbon is a little bit. There'll be purple arrows that happen inside the no trade zones, right? Because they don't care about the no trade zone. They're not looking at the outer band. They don't really look at anything other than the colors of the bands. But I'm working on a solution to eliminate purple arrows like this one right here. As a matter of fact, I created a solution and I'm not sure if it will eliminate that one or not. If I go in here to open my scripts, that one, click that, hit add to chart. And once it loads it up, if I minimize that one, okay, it's still there, but there's settings in that I have to do. Down here, the difference length point 1.5, is that right? There's a setting I have in there that I was working on. I'm still working on that, trying to make those purple arrows a little better so you don't have anything like this right here. Anyway, we don't have any trades here right now. No trades at all right now. And we have 1 minute left. This green arrow is starting to put in a higher swing. It's almost there. If it does put it in, then we'll have another trade over there. Well, here on the Russell, we had the blue arrow is the one that really needs to put in a lower swing. This green arrow doesn't mean anything because the blue arrow needs to put in a lower swing. If you have a green or a blue arrow that does not put in a lower swing, no arrow after that one in that same direction matters. All right, you have to continue the trend. Every blue or green arrow has to continue the trend. If it doesn't continue the trend, nothing after it matters. And the reason for that is that you don't stop out twice in the same direction in the same market, right in a row. Okay, like if you take this one and you stop out on this one, you don't take this one. Right? If you take this one and it goes down and puts in a lower swing, you take some profit or you get a break even, then you can take that one. If you take this one and you get a break even and it doesn't put in a lower swing, you still can't take that one. All right? You have to wait until it continues the trend. We're only trying to get in at one place in the trend. All right, we're not trying in the trend, you know, the trend being like this. We're trying to get in here in the trend. We're not trying to get in there and then maybe there and then maybe there. You know, if price pulls back to here and if price pulls back to here, we're not trying to get in those places. This is the one place we're trying to get in. Okay, if you get in there, it has to continue the trend to be able to get into there on the next pullback. Makes sense? All right. Got a lower swing. We have flat market right over there. Got a lower swing coming up here. We want to see a bounce off the ribbon here and then a push up. Okay. There's our lower swing over here. Crap, I ran over. I gotta go, guys. It is time. I gotta pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio 8 overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. No credit card required for the trial. All right, mytradingiq.com, purple button. No credit card for the trial. Dwayne, I gotta pass it back out to you. Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 5 minutes and 1 trade to get to $2,700.
Good job. That's 2 days in a row. 1 trade, right?
2 days in a row. That is correct. Yep. Total of 9 minutes and $4,500.
Guys, before we get back into the recap, I'm going to show you real quick something I just shared with Michael. This is something that's worked out nicely for me. I got a 7-tick range ES over here. I got a 5-minute target view trades here. And then I got a TIQ, a context PP 30-minute over here. And so I've been waiting for this pullback here, and it never quite got back. But as you can see, the 5-minute target view is bullish. And it's got a blue panel. And we're 2 points, I think, off the high of, is that the high of the session? 55.58. So I'm just saying that, but if this thing were to pull back right here, because I know this is positive and over here we're above the BBC, if this pulled back and gave me a green arrow, I would trade that. This combination just, I don't know, it's worked well for me. So anyway,
it works. It's all good stuff. I mean, all the individual pieces are put together in all the individual pieces, so they all should work together one way or another.
And then I just
and they're all trend trades.
Execute with this.
Excellent.
The old DT Pro
That's 2
down.
points right there.
Yeah.
2 points. All right, that's what you're looking for.
2 points. Okay. All right, guys, let's finish up this recap. Michael's got to go. All right, we left off on the Dow. We opened. We hit the weekly zone. When price goes up to a zone, we expect resistance. It did it today. Did it yesterday. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. Okay? Until proven otherwise. And today's just been a flat sideways day in the indices. Okay? Just not much of nothing. You got a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. Everything's just hugging the BBC. This is typical pre-holiday trade. Okay? Now, all of our members and trial members had these targets 25 minutes after the open last night. Yes, we've had so many attempts to get to the long target, but the market just doesn't have the energy. Okay? But, I mean, this candle opened 47, 55.47, and it ran up to 55.58. That's an 11-point candle from the open to the swing high. The goal is 2 points a day, so plenty of opportunity there. Covered the Dow, go to the Russell. Okay, here's where we open. Remember, 70% of the time when price encounters the zone, you're going to get consolidation. These are 30-minute candles, so that's 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. And then another hour and a half, 2 hours. Then we finally get some movement. We close below the BBC. We open below the BBC. This candle opened at, we'll call it 2042. And it dropped to 2034. That's 8 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Okay. And then buyers came in off this area created yesterday. Sent price up to the BBC. Pullback held. We dropped into red and falling. Once red and falling gets directly below price, it's probably on its way to becoming blue and climbing, so it becomes support. And so we get this spike. That was the 8:30 news. And then this was the 9:30 open on Wall Street. And then as we pull back to the zone and found support, remember, when we drop to a zone, we expect support. And that support sent us looking for resistance, which we found. Now this is Tuesday, this is Monday, way back over here is Friday, okay? So today's resistance was defined for us on Friday. Sweet. Now the step line, the black step line is crossing blue and climbing, so most likely price will retrace back to the BBC and the zone. That's support times 2. If the pullback holds, and it usually does, or it holds more often than not, we'll get another long opportunity. If price fails, if the pullback fails to hold, watch this bullish cross right here, because that's potential support. You got potential support there, there, and there. I would literally let price get to 2035, 2035, and trade it down to the zone at 2033. Zone's 3233. And if you might want to stick with it, because it may try to get to this bullish cross. Okay, that's what the target's based on. NQ. Here's where we opened last night. Dropped. Didn't quite touch the BBC. But pullback held nonetheless. So we get a nice leg. Look at this perfect stack here. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. This candle opened at 20,186, and from 186 we go to 252. That's about 70 points at $20 a point. That right there is $1,400 per contract traded. We get a retracement to the BBC, and this time the pullback didn't hold. We dropped below it, pulled up to it, that held, and that dropped us to here. Buyers came in, got us back above the BBC. Red and falling is turned to blue and climbing. So now what do we expect? Once we overcome this swing high right there, see it? Once we overcome that by more than just a little bit, then we would anticipate a run right up to the target. And this high, 2071, the high of this candle, 2070.5. And then if it gets through that, it might go all the way to the zone above. Okay? But this has a bullish tone to it. See, the short target was way down here at the cross. Whenever you have a bullish cross, it leads to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area will almost always be support. All right, crude oil. We are on the Q contract. Here's where we opened last night. Price is trapped between support at the BBC and blue and climbing was directly above price resistance. See, it was on its way, turning into red and falling. So price pulled back to the BBC, pullback held for hours, and then it spiked down to touch the zone. It's almost like this obsessive compulsive thing it had to do. Touch the zone, got back above the BBC, and then you got that perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC, and all the way up to the target. Step line crossed blue and climbing, but the pullback didn't make it all the way to the BBC. But you've got blue and climbing directly above price. So I wouldn't touch this thing until price got up to about 89, 80, 85, 80, 90, and then trade it long to the zone. Gold, here's where we opened last night. Above the BBC, plus we got blue and climbing, so we automatically expect higher prices, and bang, go. We overcame that high put in right there yesterday. When the market finds resistance, it will go look for support. Price drops to the BVC, we expect support. Support sends us looking for resistance. See, we got a double top right there. Resistance sends us looking for support. We found it for an hour and a half at the BBC, but then it finally gave way. Now, notice the low of this candle. Where is it? Right at the bullish cross. See, this was a huge red candle all the way down until it got to bullish cross. And then it reversed and took us all the way back up to the long target. Got a bullish cross here. If price gets down here, a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, expect it to be good support. Same is true of a bearish cross, except this candle here was off 8:30 news, so it spiked through it. We don't recommend trading news anyway, so no big loss there. Bearish cross, extended move. Price retraced back to the area of the bearish cross and found resistance. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. On the 7th 30-minute candle, it finally broke free of that magnetic pull. So as price dropped through the target, it got down to the zone and found support. Support sent us looking for resistance, which we found at the zone. Resistance at the zone sent us back to the BBC, the pullback holds more often than not. So support has now put us in price discovery mode, looking for that next resistance. Now, this is Monday, this is Tuesday. Okay, so you got a bearish cross here. Spiked it, finally got through it. Okay, but if you're in a long position, you would want to take profit as you approach that potential resistance. I hope that's clear. Now, we got blue and climbing, but the step line has crossed. So what do we expect? A retracement back to the BBC. Pullback holds more often than not, but if it doesn't hold, be careful because you got a bullish cross right here. That's potential support if prices fall. Silver, here's where we opened last night. Ran up to the long target. Resistance. Dropped to the zone, support. Bounced up into red and falling, resistance. And that took us all the way down to the short target and the zone where we consolidated for hours. Remember, 70% of the time. 70% of the time. And back up to the zone. Support sends us to resistance. Resistance sends us to support. Support sends us looking for resistance. We haven't found it yet. Could find it right here off this high. Or we could find it off that little double top right there. Now the step line is in the process, it looks like, of crossing blue and climbing. So if price stops climbing, then just wait for that pullback to the BVC, see whether it holds or not, and then trade accordingly. Euro, here's where we open, ran right up to the zone, consolidated for 2 hours, dropped to the BBC. This time the pullback did not hold, and we dropped down to this low created yesterday. Support sent us looking for resistance. Basically, that's one of those times where you don't automatically expect resistance right there. You know you're approaching potential resistance, but it happened sooner than later. So we drop below the BBC, put in a low here, buyers come in, get us back above the BBC, get us all the way up to the long target. Now we've been consolidating for 1, 2, 3 hours at the zone. As long as we stay above the BBC, the green line, we expect higher prices. But once price gets below the green line, then you expect lower prices. We trade every market exactly the same, whether it's a futures market, individual stock, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets, all time frames. Now, yesterday's high was 55.61. Today's high is 55.60. So, again, see the little pop up? 55.61 yesterday. Today, 50. So we're 1 point away from yesterday's high. Now, if we take out yesterday's high by 1 or 2 points and start to stall, get out, okay? We never trust a higher high by just a little bit or a lower low by just a little bit, okay? I know this looks very bullish, okay? But just remember, you're going up against yesterday's high. And once you cross that line, 55.61, as far as the ES is concerned, price has never been there before. Anything can happen. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI, or you can email us support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders fail for the same reason. They don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. That's why we have a live training room for 2 hours every trading day. It's an interactive environment. How many times have you been reading a book about trading and you wish you could ask the author a question? Or you're watching some video series you bought and you wished you could ask the author a question? Well, that's why we have a live training room, so that as you're seeing trades put on and taken off, with an explanation, a rule, a reason for every trade taken, every move making. You trade along in demo so that you can qualify to go live, and you're asking every question that pops into your head. Your questions do not interrupt the flow of the live training room. Your questions are the purpose of the live training room. It's how we teach you the strategy. Okay? Super important. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have a live training room with an interactive environment. Now, does the passport guarantee you'll be the 1 out of 10? No. Does it mean you at least have a fighting chance? Oh, yeah. Along with the live training room every day for 2 hours, as a passport holder, you get one-on-one private mentoring, no extra charge. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets, all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly trading zones. You're able to attend the Thursday night members-only workshop. Plus, you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram, and one of those is years of Thursday night members only workshops. So much content available for you. I think we probably have, because we've been doing this since 2008. I think we have more content available in regards to trading than anybody else out there. I could be wrong. Just on the YouTube channel, this afternoon broadcast, we have over 2,500 daily episodes. That's a lot in the grand scheme of things. In the face of eternity, I guess it's just a blip on the screen. But you get the idea. So all that is yours. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Oh, and you get round-the-clock support via Telegram. Have you ever been sitting at your desk all alone and something goes kablooey, or you're just having a rough day, or you're having a great day and you wish you could talk to somebody? Well, that's what our discussion group in Telegram is all about. Whether you're trading at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., if you post a question in the discussion group, chances are you'll get an answer pretty quick from one of our traders who came to us just like you, been trying to get profitable for months, some cases years, rare cases decades. And you get to talk to those people. How cool is that? And they'll help you. You see, we consider ourselves a team. We're all on the same team. There's nobody in there competing against one another or trying to outdo one another or outsmart each other. We're like family. Okay? And you get to experience it for 5 consecutive trading days before you spend a dime. What more could you ask for? Okay, today's good word for the day, and we'll wrap this up. The story of your Bible. The word of the Lord endures forever. Now, this is the word which by the gospel was preached to you. 1 Peter 1:25. The early Bible was not available in English. It was only available in Latin, the language of the clergy, and those who were chained to the podiums of the cathedrals. Then John Wycliffe, a prominent professor of divinity at Oxford University, said, "This is not right. People, regular people, should be able to read the Bible in their own language." Church leaders branded him a heretic and an instrument of the devil, like Noah, because you see, back when only the clergy could read the Bible, they had tremendous control over the people. And the people had no way of knowing if what that particular clergy was telling them the truth or not. That guy might have some kind of crazy thoughts, and he might be telling you the Bible says this when it does not. So, this was a really important time in history. Like Noah, who pounded the nails in the ark while people ridiculed and scorned him, John Wycliffe began translating the scriptures as a flood of persecution emerged around him. When he finally completed his translation of the scriptures, he wrote this in the flyleaf of the first copy of the English scriptures. This is what it said. "This Bible is translated and shall make possible a government of the people, by the people, and for the people." Does that sound familiar? 500 years later, President Abraham Lincoln borrowed that statement for his famous Gettysburg Address. 30 years after Wycliffe died, he was again proclaimed a heretic. Consequently, his body was exhumed, his bones were burned to dust, and his ashes were cast into the river Swift. From the river Swift, they spread to the river Avon, then into the river Severn, then into the ocean. Thus, John Wycliffe's ashes are the emblem of his doctrine, now dispersed all over the world. Hence, the Apostle Peter was led to write, "The word of the Lord endures forever. Now this is the word which, by the gospel, was preached to you." Think about it. The clergy didn't want the people to be able to read the Bible themselves because it would take money out of their pocket. Just like in Jesus' day. Why was Jesus really crucified? Because of money. It was about the money and power. Money and power. Money and power. Money and power. And why did the church clergy in Wycliffe's day freak out? Because suddenly a common man, a farmer, a humble farmer, or a humble slave could actually read God's word for themselves. And they began to be filled with the Holy Spirit. Everything you ever needed to know about this life and the next, it's in the book. It's in the book. That's our good word for the day. And thank you, John Wycliffe. Now, every day when I open the broadcast with scripture, I use the Message translation. Now, some people call me a heretic because I like the Message translation. I have read the King James cover to cover. I've read the Living Bible cover to cover. I think I've read the New King James cover to cover. But it wasn't until I started listening to the Message translation via some website or audiobook or something that the word really came alive inside of me. All the these and the thous, King's English, I found that very confusing. By the way, Jesus and his disciples didn't speak in the King's English. The king hadn't even been born yet. They spoke in Aramaic and Hebrew and Greek, but they just spoke like regular people. But you open up that King James, and I'm not knocking the King James. I'm just saying, many people don't read their Bible because they have a hard time with the these and the thous and the all that. Okay? Now, many years ago, I'd have had to tell you to go out and buy yourself a copy of the Message translation. But you can go to Bible.com right now, and you can pick from probably 50 different translations. And of course, you're going to say, or somebody's going to tell you, well, how do you know they translated it correctly? As you always pray before you read, whatever translation you're reading, pray, Holy Spirit, I pray that you would reveal truth to me as I study God's word. And if you read something that doesn't resound with your spirit, if your spirit all of a sudden just like snaps to attention and goes, that ain't right, well, then there's a Holy Spirit. All right. I've kept you too long and you've been too kind. Can we ever be too kind? I don't think so. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell. Oh, hey, we won't be here tomorrow, Juneteenth. We'll be back Thursday. See you then. Happy holiday.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.